How long can you stay outside the US as a green card holder? Don't risk losing it. Imagine this moment. After years of navigating a complex and often stressful immigration system, the mountains of paperwork, the anxious interviews, the seemingly endless waiting, it finally happens. You hold in your hands a US permanent resident card. It's more than just a piece of plastic, it's the key to a new life. It represents security, opportunity, and the promise of a future you've poured your heart, soul, and savings into building. You can finally buy a home, accept that dream job, and watch your children grow up with opportunities you may have only dreamed of. The relief is immense. You've made it. You are a lawful permanent resident of the United States. But then, life happens. A call comes in the middle of the night, an aging parent back home has fallen ill and needs your care. Or perhaps a once-in-a-lifetime business opportunity arises overseas. It could even be something as simple as wanting to complete a degree in your home country. Confident in your new status, you pack your bags. You think, I'm a permanent resident. I can leave for a few months, maybe even a year, and come back when I'm ready. You assume your green card is an ironclad guarantee, but this assumption is where a dream can turn into a devastating nightmare. Because here's the critical detail that many permanent residents overlook. Your green card can be taken away. A single, seemingly innocent mistake, staying outside the US for too long without the proper authorization, can be interpreted by immigration authorities as you abandoning your US residency. And the consequence isn't a slap on the wrist. It could mean losing your green card permanently. This isn't just a theoretical risk. It happens to people every single day at US ports of entry. That's why today, we are going to arm you with the knowledge you need to travel internationally without fear. We'll break down the crucial timelines you must respect, the 6-month and 1-year rules. We'll explain the legal concept of abandonment of residency and what factors immigration officers look for. Most importantly, we'll walk you through the essential steps you can take to protect your status, including the powerful tool known as a re-entry permit. So, if you are a green card holder or know someone who is, you cannot afford to miss this. The information in this video is critical. Stay with me, because understanding these rules won't just give you peace of mind, it could be the one thing that saves you from the heartbreaking experience of losing everything you've worked so hard to build. Welcome to the channel, where we dive deep into travel, immigration, and US residency topics. If you're a green card holder or planning to become one, hit that subscribe button, because this video is packed with tips you don't want to miss. First, let's set the record straight. A green card isn't just a travel document, it means you are a lawful permanent resident, LPR, of the United States. The key word here is permanent resident. That means the US expects you to live here most of the time, work here, pay taxes here, and make America your home base. If you spend too much time abroad, immigration officers might think you've given up your US residence, even if that's not your intention. So, how long is too long for a trip outside the US? This is one of the most critical questions for any green card holder. The answer isn't just about a number on a calendar, it's about your intent to permanently live in the United States. Customs and Border Protection officers are trained to look for signs that you might have abandoned your residency. Let's break down the different time frames and what you need to know for each. First up, trips under 6 months, which is less than 180 days. This is generally the safest zone. For short trips, there's a legal presumption that you have not abandoned your permanent residence. So, if you take a 3-month vacation or visit family abroad for a few weeks, CBP will usually welcome you back without any issues. However, generally safe isn't a complete guarantee. It's always a smart idea to carry some evidence of your ties, like a recent pay stub or a copy of your apartment lease, just in case you're asked. Think of it as simple, proactive insurance for a smooth re-entry. Now let's talk about trips between 6 months and 1 year. This is where the situation gets more serious, and red flags can start to appear. Once you cross the 6-month mark, the presumption of continuous residency is gone. The burden of proof now shifts to you. A CBP officer has the right to question whether you still truly intend to live in the US permanently. They'll be looking for strong, tangible evidence. This includes proof of a US job, a lease or mortgage, active US bank accounts and credit cards, and family ties here. One of the strongest pieces of evidence you can have is proof that you filed US income taxes as a resident. And finally, trips over 1 year without special permission. This is the big danger zone. Staying outside the U.S. for more than a year creates a legal presumption that you have abandoned your green card. To avoid this, you must apply for and receive a re-entry permit you leave the United States. This permit, valid for up to 2 years, serves as official proof that you do not intend to abandon your status. Returning after a year without one is a massive risk. The CBP officer can confiscate your green card and place you in removal proceedings, forcing you to argue your case before an immigration judge. It's a situation you absolutely want to avoid. When it comes to keeping your green card, the length of your trip abroad is only part of the story. The most critical factor is your intent. U.S. immigration law requires you to intend to live in the United States permanently. Your actions, not just your words, must consistently prove that the U.S. is your true home. So how does a Customs and Border Protection officer determine your intent? They are trained to look for specific signs that you've severed your ties to the U.S. Here are the most common red flags they look for. First, having no fixed U.S. address. Officers want to see that you own or lease a home, not just use a P.O. box. This shows a physical and financial commitment. Selling your property or letting a lease expire without a new one suggests you don't plan on returning to live here. Second, filing taxes as a non-resident. This is powerful evidence against you. By filing this way, you are legally declaring to the U.S. government that you don't consider yourself a resident, which directly contradicts the foundation of your green card status. Third, your employment. Taking a permanent job with a foreign company indicates a shift in your center of life. This is different from being temporarily transferred abroad by a U.S. employer, which can strengthen your ties. The key is whether your foreign work appears indefinite. Fourth, the location of your family and belongings. Moving your spouse and children abroad, enrolling them in foreign schools, and shipping your furniture out of the country paints a clear picture of permanent relocation. It suggests you have moved your entire life. Crucially, an officer won't decide based on a single factor. They use a totality of the circumstances test, weighing all your ties together. This means even with a trip under a year, if the combined evidence shows your life is now overseas, you risk abandonment. They'll also look at the location of your bank accounts and if you've maintained a U.S. driver's license. Consider this. A man traveled abroad for 10 months to care for his sick mother. To save money, he sold his car, ended his apartment lease, and filed taxes as a non-resident. Upon his return, the CBP officer concluded that despite the valid reason for his trip, his actions demonstrated a clear intent to abandon U.S. residency, and he lost his green card. He could have avoided this by keeping his lease, storing his car, and filing taxes as a resident, proving his absence was temporary. Now what if you must stay abroad longer than 6 months? That's where the re-entry permit comes in. It's like a safety net for green card holders. You apply before leaving the U.S. using Form 131. Once approved, it allows you to stay outside the U.S. for up to 2 years without being considered as abandoning your residency. But here's the catch. You have to be physically in the U.S. when applying. It doesn't guarantee re-entry, but it makes your case much stronger. When you come back, CBP officers look for how long you were gone, your ties to the U.S., job, taxes, family, bank accounts, why you left, whether you plan to return. So if you've been gone 8 months but still have a job, a house, and filed taxes, you'll likely be fine. But if you've been gone 7 months, quit your U.S. job, and rented your house to someone else, your residency could be questioned. Military service or government work. Green card holders working with the U.S. government abroad usually don't face abandonment issues. Naturalization applicants. If you plan to apply for U.S. citizenship, long absences can break your continuous residence requirement. That means your 5-year or 3-year countdown might reset. Emergency situations always keep documentation, doctor's note, work contract, etc., to prove why you had to stay longer. Here's how to protect your green card if you travel often. 1. Never stay abroad more than 6 months without a strong reason. 2. If you must, apply for a re-entry permit. 3. Always maintain U.S. ties. Keep a home, file taxes, keep a U.S. bank account. 4. Avoid filing taxes as a non-resident. 5. Document your travel reasons, health records, work letters, family emergencies. Your green card is more than a piece of plastic. It's your ticket to build a life in America. Don't risk losing it by misunderstanding travel rules. Remember, under 6 months, usually safe. 6 months to 1 year, possible red flags. Over 1 year, very risky without a re-entry permit. Stay informed, plan wisely, and keep your U.S. residency secure. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, share it with other green card holders, and subscribe for more guides on U.S. travel, immigration, and citizenship.